I'm Kelly, and this is Kelly Hill Yoga, 30 Days of Yoga, day 22. And today I am going to introduce you to Yin Yoga. And before you freak out and click off this video thinking, I don't want to do that, it's too slow for me, let me just tell you that the whole point of this 30-day program is to build balance in your home program. So I don't know if you've noticed, I try to have a really good mix of very grounding and those power days where we're doing lots of vinyasa based breath to movement type sequences. So yin plays very nicely into that yang side of the home practice, and with yin it's fantastic at releasing that connective tissue or that fascia, releasing tension within ourselves that we might be holding, anxiety, stress, and in these postures that they can create strength and stability when you do those days of vinyasa based practices. You can find more strength and depth within some of the more dynamic poses and postures we do within yoga. So just give this video a chance. I promise you by the end of it, you will feel very released and relaxed. And that is just, isn't that what this is all about? Just to release everything else that's happening outside of your space, your room, your home, your office, wherever you're doing these videos, is just to have that detachment from everything else that's going on and attachment with ourselves, right? So I will stop yammering. We do need multiple blocks. So it's 2 blocks for this, and you'll notice my toddler has scratched and scribbled all over my blocks. Mom life. And you will need a strap. And like I said before, don't freak out. Anything that you can use, whether it's the tie to your robe, a belt, a scarf, just anything that can like wrap around a body part and kind of where you can use both sides of it to pull. Even a kitchen towel, if you have one, that works. So when you're ready, we will get started. And it's great to do these practices. My mat is filthy. Sorry. It's great to do these practices when the muscles are still nice and cold. When we do yin, it's important to do that when they're cold, just because it really does work on releasing that connective tissue and the release our muscles, right? So if you're warmed up, sometimes you can push past that edge that we've talked about, and we don't want to push past anything because then it can have that negative connotation with it later. Our bodies will not want to see progress in a posture. When we push things too far, our body is very wants to keep this homeostasis, so it has these defense mechanisms in place that when we push things past, our nervous system creates a negative connotation with it, so then we don't necessarily see progress. So I will stop yammering. I get super excited when I talk about anything anatomy and physiology. I'm sure you've noticed by now. So big toes together, knees nice and wide. We're going to do a wide leg child's pose. Don't have them too wide where you feel any pressure or tension in that low back. If you do, just bring those knees in a little bit. We are going to be holding these poses for about 3 to 5 minutes. Number 1, depending on if I can remember. And 2, just how long you feel like you need to hold that posture. If at any point it becomes too much, just come out of it and hang out in like regular child's pose, or go get yourself a glass of water or something, or do some jumping jacks. Whatever you feel like you need. You're not forcing anything. Like I said, everything about this, everything about yin is all about feeling supported. So let's grab a block. We're going to rest our forehead on it, knees nice and wide. Walk the hands out and then rest the forehead on that block. Nice and wide with the knees. Like I said, if you start to feel it a little bit too much in the low back, bring the knees in. That means they're a little bit too far out. If you haven't quite found that edge, you may rest your head on the mat just to have a little bit more depth. But I am super cold in this freezing room today, so I am going to rest my head on the block. You want to be able to hold the posture as passive as possible. So that means that everywhere, especially where we're feeling it right now, on inner thighs, everywhere is relaxed and released. And, sorry, I need to readjust. And when we find the state, pull yourselves inward and just focus on the breath. You're starting to build up any tension. Just with your exhale, relax and release. Should be able to breathe normally and comfortably. Gently come out of this, so come up onto the arms, pull those legs back in, come to a tabletop, and then we will lower down onto the belly and set up for Sphinx. So since this is very beginner, shift my gear. Since this is very beginner, so resting on the forearms, elbows under shoulders, hips nice and down, grounded into the earth. We will be holding this for a little bit. So a great way to feel supported is to take that block and put it kind of just where our sternum ends, or wherever you just need to play around with the height of it so you feel supported in this, where it's not using all of our arm strength to hold ourselves up, right? Because then it's more about being an isometric hold, and the point of yin is to be as passive as possible. So nice and grounded. Exhale, release that low back, release any tension you're holding in the glutes, thighs and hips really pulled to the earth with its gravity. Relax the belly. Hold any tension in your neck. With your exhale, think release and relax, not deepen. Release, relax. So just go ahead and do a mental body scan again. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Sometimes in Sphinx you can do so on your glutes, so just make sure your glutes are nice and relaxed. Gently come out of this. So shift your block off to the side. Slowly lower that chest down to the mat. And let's just nod the head side to side to release any little bits we might be holding in the neck. And then let's take our strap and we will, let me thread it really quick. Take your strap and wrap it around your right foot. So however you feel like you need it to be, wrap it around the right foot, and then we will pull it towards the right glute. And however you feel like you need to hold it with your hands, just remember to stay passive. Finding that edge, we're not yanking or pulling, especially since we are using the strap. If you want to, you can just use your hand to hold your foot as well. But remember, this is very beginner. And let's just rest the head on that left hand where we can hang out here for a little while. Remember, we don't want to be fidgeting or wiggling. Should be able to comfortably breathe through the pose. If you are fidgeting or shaking, you just back off. Slowly release that right foot under your strap. Do not let the foot sling back. I want it to be controlled as we lower it down, and then let's take it to the left side. So loop that strap around the left foot. Pull the left heel towards the left glute. Really getting a nice stretch in the front side of that left quad. Just however you have to adjust your strap. And then rest the head on your arm or just however you want to have it for this other side. So find support in this pose before we find rest and relaxation. With each exhale, release, relax. Gently undo that strap. Let that left leg come back. Push up. Let's just come into a child's pose really quick, just to release that low back. And then we will come to sit down on our mat, wide leg. Let's grab our blocks. So legs nice and wide. Let's stack the blocks between the legs. Find height up through the crown of the head. And if you need, there's no fancy way of saying this, just grab that meaty part of your booty and kind of shift it so you're really grounded on that bony part of your hip or your sit bones, right? Or bony part of your pelvis. And not pushing our legs too wide. Like I said earlier in that wide leg child's pose, it's all about kind of just backing off a little so we're not feeling anything too crazy in our low back. And then we will come forward, hinging at the hips, not really thinking about rounding, just forcing. Hinge at the hips to come forward. So whatever you need to do to set up for this posture. I am notoriously inflexible in this posture. I used to have a terrible habit of comparing and forcing myself to do something like cranking my legs out really nice and wide or shoving myself down, and it was very counterproductive because, like I talked about before, it's all about finding that edge and then backing off, and you will see progress far faster than you would forcing anything. So just play around with the height of your blocks and then rest the forehead on those blocks. So release any tension or stress you're holding in those inner thighs, the outside of the hips. Remember, relax, release. With each exhale, you do not want to be fidgeting. You're starting to build up tension in the quads. Send some energy down there to relax. And if at any point you need to come out of something, come out of it. Gently rise back up. Set your blocks off to the side. Use your hands to help and pull those legs in. And let's just come to our seat, and we'll just windshield wiper the legs real quick just to release any little bit of energy we might be holding somewhere, especially after holding that pose for a little while. And then let's come to lay on our back. Grab one block. Extend your right leg. Bring the left knee in. And then transition over to the right. But we're going to do this very supported today. So place that block wherever you feel like you feel supported, grounded, and you can be here for a little while. And then let's take the arms. And we're just going to have them kind of like these cactus arms, back of the hands rested on the ground. Take the gaze over to the left. And then release, relax. Just gently bring your head back to the center. Knees slowly back in. And we'll take it to the other side. So extend that left leg out. Right knee into the chest. And then transition over to the left side. And I'm going to have to adjust my mic. Over to this left side. Play around with your block, however you feel supported. Arms in your cactus. And let's take the gaze over to the right. starting to build up tension anywhere, just release it with your exhale. It is raining outside right now, and I really hope it plays into the video because it is so cathartic right now. All right, let's gently come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest just to release that low back. And then we'll come up to seated to close out our day. So just cross the legs. Fix my mic again, sorry. Cross the legs, head over heart, hands at our heart space. Just close the eyes. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. Let's just be as present as we can in this moment before we release ourselves into the rest of the day. I really hope you enjoyed this introduction to yin. And if you did so, please like this video and subscribe so you can find when the new videos come out for the next day. And once again, this 30 days is all about you, for you, building a great, well-rounded 30-day practice, home practice. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for practicing with me today. As always, I love you.